The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. And we back for one more show of the table topics.
That's it.
How you doing, John?
Good. More important. How are you doing? You good?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Thank God. I'm a fighter. I'm a survivor.
Exactly. Sorry.
Well, we have so much to talk today.
Sure.
And I would like to start by the city. Did you heard the city address from the mayor?
No, I didn't get a chance to see that. Fill us in.
Well, I did saw, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of smoke.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's a lot of smoke. And you know, I already told you this before. I finally had a chance to sit down with the mayor a month ago, probably more than a month ago, and I was able to tell him that how disappointed I was with his administration and the lack of communication. It's no communication. And he did agree with me that he probably missed the mistracked. And again, you cannot blame everything on COVID. You know, you cannot blame COVID. It's one thing that you have to fight every day, but you cannot base everything in COVID for the whole day. You know, I mean, life needs to keep going. Probably tomorrow, I know you don't have Facebook, but probably tomorrow I will be posting on Facebook because I'm 99% sure that they're going to turn the lights, the Christmas lights, on tomorrow because it's a holiday. It's Thanksgiving.
Okay. Yep.
But once again, Pleasant Street's going to be on the dark because Columbus Street has decorations up. South Main Street has decorations up, but Pleasant Street still don't have the decorations up.
How come?
I don't know. Maybe COVID-19. They're afraid to come to Pleasant Street because they're going to get COVID-19. I don't know what to tell you. That's just to tell you how much they care about this neighborhood. They don't care about this neighborhood.
Well,
they don't care. They don't care about the residents. They don't care about the business. Okay, they only care about the business of downtown. Yeah, that's who they care about.
Well, let me ask you this, Carlos: have they decorated in the past in the wintertime around Christmas?
Well, this is, to tell you the truth, this is a fight that I did 3 years ago.
Okay.
And last year or the year before, they did Pleasant Street for Thanksgiving. I posted on Facebook. I have a memory that just came up yesterday on my Facebook. That's why I said, oh, let me check this year. And fair enough, because I was locked in the house for 2 weeks. So fair enough, today I drove Pleasant Street. No decorations. I went South Main, decorations up. I went Columbus Street, decorations up. So guess what? When they turn the switch tomorrow, okay, if they turn the switch tomorrow, they should turn for the entire city, not for part of the city. Yeah. Because it's going to be Thanksgiving up here too.
I hear you.
And it's not fair. It's not fair for the business that pays the same amount of taxes for this city to be ignored once again by not having the same and be treated the same way that the other side of the city is. I'm sorry. You know, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who goes up to the 6th floor. Okay, it seems like it's the same year. Nothing changes. It's the same year, the same thing. And I know that when I open my mouth and I say something, I have had departments calling me with excuses. I don't want to hear this year. I don't want to hear. Okay? Don't blame me on COVID-19. Don't blame me on it. I just don't want to hear. You have to admit that you don't treat the city the same way. You treat the parts of the city in one way and parts of the city the other way. I'm sorry that we are a poor neighborhood. I'm sorry that our business, okay, don't have as many employees that they have downtown maybe. But they still pay tax into the city. And if we're going to break down by neighborhoods, believe me, they will collect a lot of money from this neighborhood. We have a lot of people living on this neighborhood. We have a lot of business on this neighborhood. Okay, and I don't think that we're getting back in services for the amount of money that we share to the city.
Okay, tell us how you really feel.
I just said it. Another thing that I noticed, being 2 weeks, it's just watching TV.
Yes, sir.
Did you notice how many medication advertisements it's on TV?
Yes. Yes.
Did you notice how the side effects of those medications are?
Well, one thing that's a little scary to me is how they're advertising medicine for schizophrenia. How many people in this country have schizophrenia if they're putting this on TV at night? That's a little scary to me. You know? But yeah, I do see that. But that one's the one that's kind of bothered me more, is seeing that, you know, when you're hearing it. I hear voices, but it's like, really? This has to be advertised that much? You know? So
and it's another thing that I don't understand.
Yeah.
If you are watching a show that has 4 breaks,
yeah,
talking about an hour show that has 4 breaks, usually they break every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That has 4 breaks.
Yeah.
Why do I want to spend money and advertise the same thing every 15 minutes?
It's because they have.
If I'm watching this show, I'm going to hear your commercial.
Yeah.
But now by the second time and by the third time, I'm sick of it. Of your commercial.
Well, that's why our drugs are so expensive here in the U.S. because we're paying for all these fancy commercials.
And the funny thing is, in a 30-second commercial, they spend more time telling people how bad you can get if you take this medication.
I know. Yeah.
You know that actually that's going to treat.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Exactly.
And some of them you even can die.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the thing there. I know. I hear you. But yeah.
How does medications pass the tests from CDC?
I don't know. You got to tell me. How come we pay so much more than Europe, Canada, South America, Africa? How come we're paying so much more? I believe the president's trying to put something out there to correct that. So we'll see if it gets forwarded before, you know.
I mean, it's unbelievable. And then you have commercials that are, you know, they all about insurance. Insurance. I mean, I guess if you have insurance, you can sell your insurance now.
Yeah.
If you don't need insurance no more, we can buy you insurance. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
Who the hell gonna buy insurance for 30 years, gets to 60 or 70 years old, and now he wants to sell the insurance? He's gonna have no insurance?
Well, that's for death. And let's face it, when you're younger, you want to have more insurance. As you get older, you don't really need as much. You know what I mean? Because your kids are older, so there's really no need
Yeah,
to like
and your kid's gonna
rich.
pay for you, and the kid's gonna pay for the for your funeral. Anyway, I guess.
Hey, what is that? Especially now with COVID, it's not going to cost you more than $5,000 to $6,000. So you know what I mean? Hey,
Oh, the way I see it, if they don't want to smell me, they're gonna have to bury me.
it's exactly.
So
Exactly.
guess what? I don't care.
Yeah, I hear you.
Hide me under the bed. Hide me inside the freeze on the basement, whatever.
There you go.
Eventually, when I start to smell, they were gonna put me somewhere.
Yeah. I hear you.
Oh boy, yeah, but I mean, this is things that I'm being noticed this 2 weeks that I really have time to, to think about is, and one thing that bothered me so much is this medications. It's like, you're gonna try to sell me a medication. Tell me what this medication is gonna treat, what it's gonna do on me.
Yep.
How I'm gonna feel bad at taking this medication. Not just, take this medication, but guess what? You're gonna have this, and you're gonna have this, and you're gonna have this, and you can die. So what the hell I want this medication for then?
Well, I mean, I have no idea. But yeah, you've been missing a lot. You don't watch a lot of TV, so that's good. That's a good thing. But that's been going on for a while. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't have much time to watch TV. So when one thing, that you are stuck and the only thing you have is the TV to watch, it's like putting a gun on your head, and it's like I cannot take this anymore.
I watch a little bit, but I watch a lot more YouTube or kind of different stations that are on YouTube, so there's really no commercials normally, or you can fast forward the commercials. So but no, I hear you. At night, if you're watching something on prime time, like I said, the schizophrenia one always is kind of like, wow, this is scary that this many people must have this then.
I mean, I could stay here the half an hour just talking about commercials.
Yeah.
Now you have this, you can lease this nice Toyota.
Yep.
Lease this nice Toyota, only $256 a month.
Yep.
And then you read the small print and say, if you deposit $6,000.
Yeah, you have to give them a deposit. Exactly. It's not just the 120, but
then it's not. Then the card's not going to cost me $250 a month.
Yeah. Well, because you put that money, but I think at the end of the lease, whatever your deposit was and whatever you paid in goes toward the price of the car. You can buy the car outright at that point. But yeah, I mean, it works for some people. I think they had to start that, Carlos, because cars are so bloody expensive now. You're talking about the average cars are $30,000. It's like a $500 payment. A lot of people can't afford that, so they went with the leasing thing. And
to tell you the truth, the majority of the people today don't have good credit.
Yep.
So don't have good credit. So you have two ways to fight. You have the $5,000. And you still have to have good insurance.
Yeah.
So
You're right.
Good credit. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yep.
Good credit. So it's like whatever.
Yeah.
So we are 15 minutes into the show, and so you want to go nationally a little bit, and
sure, go for it.
So, I'm in peace. I have nothing to say.
You have nothing to say?
Amen.
Amen. Nothing to say.
For the next 4 years, I'm going to relax. I'm going to enjoy.
So let me ask you this: Do you like the picks that he had? The people that he picked were Obama and Hillary Clinton people. Most of the people
Democrat.
he picked. Yeah, I know, but they're the same
The
people.
Democrat.
So do you think that the foreign policy was good before? I mean, we've had how many peace treaties come out? We have no wars in the last 4 years. Do we want to go back to wars with different countries? You know what I mean? I don't understand why we want to go back to wars. That's what happened in the last administration. We had Libya, we had Syria, we had Iraq, Afghanistan. We were still in those wars. So I don't know. I wouldn't be too happy to go back foreign policy wise to the last administration, because I don't think that was handled very well. And as a matter of fact, I think there was a former Democratic person, Gates, that said anything that the last administration's vice president did was a total disaster, according to foreign policy. So how about the thing that we don't want to hold China accountable? That's what's going to happen again. Is that a good thing for America? I don't think so. I really don't think so, but we'll see.
Well, we survived, right? 8 years.
Well, Carlos, it depends. Our country was destroyed. The jobs went overseas. It was ridiculous. You know what I mean? They asked people in Pennsylvania, asked people in look, we lost Quaker Fabric, didn't we, during the last 8 years? When did they close?
Well, maybe it's time for Trump to bring his factories here.
Well, I
Let's
mean,
start with him.
Well, I mean, hey, if he doesn't have a factory, he's basically doing what everybody else does. There aren't factories up here yet. You know what I mean? That's what they're trying to do. You know,
he just sends the money under the table and just put the stickers on my stuff. You know.
Oh boy. Well, I'm gonna earlier today. I think it's still going on right now. The president's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, is before the Pennsylvania legislature, and they are giving witness testimony. They have a bunch of people. So let me give you an example of what they have. And these are the commissioners of voters. There were approximately 1.2 million mail-in ballots that were sent out in Pennsylvania. They send them out. Guess how many came back?
What?
2.1 million. How do you get more absentee ballots back than you sent out? And that were counted. How did that happen?
Says, but the thing is, he says all this
Carlos,
in front of the cameras.
Carlos.
But he goes to court, he has nothing.
Carlos, they're saying this in front of the Pennsylvania.
Is this a fraud? Is this a fraud? No, sir. It's no fraud.
They're not.
Then what the hell are you doing in here?
Well, Pennsylvania is not going to. They may not certify the ballots there, so that could be an issue in Pennsylvania right now. That's what they're doing. A judge came back and said that you don't have to certify those ballots. So those 20 electoral votes may not go to the vice president. They're still looking over this now. They had.
But he still wins. But he still wins. He still wins.
How does he? All right. So what?
He still has 270.
All right.
He still has 200, over 270. So I don't know what he wants to accomplish. Right. He wants to bring it down from 360 to 306 to 270. Okay.
All right. Well, then,
how much are you going to throw in the trash? 2 million votes? Go ahead. I still have another 5.
Carlos, let me ask you a question. Just think here logically. So if you mail out 1.2 million absentee ballots and you get back 2.4 million, is there something wrong there? There's got to be something wrong there.
It is if you can prove it. It is if you can prove it.
Well, they said they have evidence of this.
They say it's one thing.
Listen.
They've been saying frauds for 2 weeks. None. 30.
Okay.
Got dropped.
Let me ask you.
And they all frauds. They said it's all frauds. They all got dropped. It has nothing. I call them melty. Melty. The melting. What's his name? The melting.
Giuliani.
Giuliani.
Yeah.
Yes. Now I want to call him something else.
Yeah. Well, let me ask
Giuliani.
Yep.
Had nothing.
Well, this was on the Secretary of State's website. That's what that was. they looked, and it's not on there anymore. They took it down. Is that mysterious or what? Why would you take that information down off the state website? So, you know what I mean? You just got to look at whether you like someone or not. Do you want your vote not to count in this country?
I want to count it, but at this point,
Yes.
if you lie to me 30 times, okay, it's one more lie.
Lie to me 30 times. What do you mean?
Because every time they lose a case,
Yeah.
it's because they're lying.
Yeah, but that's not all those cases are being brought forth by the president. No, not all those cases. Those are different groups that are putting cases out. It's not all.
But it's the defense of the mayor. It's the defense of the president, and he uses those when he comes in front of the microphones.
All right, let me ask you this: Where do you
So,
think? Where do you
if
think
he's counting on it, says
where do you think the votes were counted for Pennsylvania? Where do you think those votes were counted?
what, in somebody's backyard?
No, for Frankfurt, Germany. That's the evidence that was brought forward today through that company, that they were counted, and because they counted through Dominion and Elizabeth Warren.
I hope once that you're right.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a doubt that for once you're right.
Okay.
But
We'll
next
see.
week we will say. Next week we will talk about.
Well, no, I don't think it's going to happen right away, because you got to go before these. But watch the news, Pennsylvania. It's probably happening now. The legislature may not certify those votes. They said they have the same irregularities in Michigan the same way. So another example they gave, and I'm just throwing out information that they said. You know what I mean? So they said there was a spike in votes. So basically, 600,000 votes were put into the system. They just came right in. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Out of those 600,000 votes, 3,300 were Trump votes. That's virtually impossible to say that 670,000 votes were that way. And the other thing they brought out was that they've been registering double the Republicans than the Democrats. So they've been getting more registered voters that were Republicans, doubled the Democrats, but they still had an overcount. Another thing, one more other thing. Listen, hold on. Hear me out. The other thing was that they had over 1 million votes that just had the president, but there was nothing voted below that. So they didn't vote for senator, they didn't vote for congressman, they didn't vote for county commissioner, whatever. On close to 1 million votes. Is that strange, or would that be like kind of a mysterious thing that that many people?
How many votes we talking about that we stole from Trump?
Well, I mean, if you don't let people look at ballots, number one, they weren't allowed to look. There were numerous people that testified that said they were kicked out. They were yelled at.
They throw that out. They throw that out because when they went to court, they said no. They actually were in there, but they're not close enough.
Carlos, you're right. They were in there.
That was the only one that he win.
Listen.
That's the only one that he win from 30.
Yeah,
that's the only one he win.
But listen, how are you? But when they got in there, they were 20 and 30 feet away. How can you see what people are doing 30 feet away?
What did you want to do? Even if you're 6 feet away, you want to tell me that you're 6 feet away, you can see that ballot belongs to Trump?
Yeah, but it's not. You're not always checking stuff like that, Carlos. You're looking to see if the signatures match. If there is a signature on there, because if there's no signature, it gets thrown out. But if you
even worse, how can you verify a signature 6 feet away from a document?
Exactly. Why is that the case? Why would
so why? Because the law, they need to stay 6 feet away.
Oh my God, good Lord, Carlos. God help us.
They need to stay 6 feet away. Carlos. That's what the judge gave them. Yes, you're right. You need to be 6 feet away. Because they were saying that they were not even inside. Then they changed. Yes, they were inside, but they were too far.
They weren't originally let inside. I saw a video of this with somebody in Pennsylvania saying we want to go in, and they went, we'll look at the judge's order. You don't have the right to do that. So there were cases, it's on video, that they put on television. If you're watching CNN or MSNBC or even Fox, you're not going to see it.
How many votes that the Democrats stole from Trump?
Okay, well, I mean, if you look at, if you have a million, just look at this with Fall River, all right? Just take this as Fall River, all right? So say we have Jazel and we have Paul Coogan, okay? We send out 1 million absentee ballots, okay?
Yeah.
2 million ballots come back. Do you think anybody's going to wonder, and then Jazel wins? Do you think anybody's going to create a ruckus about that? Do you think that's going to be some concern to people that you mailed out 1 million, but you get 2 million back and 2 million accounted? Is anybody going to say anything?
But still,
Carlos.
Listen, the difference in the numbers, that's what matters. If those numbers going to put the person over, matters. But if those numbers still don't make that person go over, really doesn't matter. It's just a smoke.
Well, 1 million votes
really doesn't matter. Whatever he's fighting is peanuts.
Carlos.
Even if we gave it to him, it's not enough for him to have the 270 delegates.
1 million votes in Pennsylvania. If you get 1 million back and you milled out 1 million, you got 2 million back. You need to knock out 1 million. So you mean to tell me in Pennsylvania it wasn't 1 million stretch with the vote? Georgia, the same way. There's like a difference of 6,000 votes. Wisconsin, Michigan, they're not like hundreds of thousands. They're like 20 and 15,000 votes.
Well, we have differences of 600,000 votes and over 1 million votes somewhere. But the point that I'm trying to say is, for him to have 270 delegates, he needs to win and need at least another 6 states. Even if we gave him the 6 states, okay, the other one goes over by 1 delegate.
No, because you're going to take all those. So if you take right now Pennsylvania, supposedly we went to Biden, so that's 20. You're going to take 20. Now he's down to 250. If you take Michigan away because there was some information, now you're down to 240. You know what I mean? So
listen,
that's
the end of the day is this. Could be 1 state wrong, yes, but 6 states never happened before, okay? And it's impossible for 6 states to be wrong. It's impossible.
No,
I give it 1. For the doubt, I give it 1. I give him 2 states. But 6 states never happened before. We never had to count 6 states for the second time and for the third time. Okay, we never had to do it in 6 states. He lost. Period. He lost.
Carlos, when was the last time we didn't get presidential votes until 3 or 4 days later? We didn't know who the president. When was the last time? That was Gore. It was 1 state. Other than that, I can tell you.
When was the last time that we had this many people voting by mail? When was the last time?
Again, voting by mail.
That's it. This year it's been different. This year it's different.
You go to Walmart, you go to Market Basket, you go to Shaw's, you go to Stop and Shop, you go to Kohl's, you go to the casino, but people had to vote by mail. The vote by mail, this was, you know who said vote by mail? Jimmy Carter said it can be racked with fraud if it's not done correctly.
You know something? Was his mistake telling his supporters to say go vote in person and don't vote by mail.
Yeah.
They lost because of that. Because it's no way that all that people can go vote in 8 hours.
Why not?
Okay? It's impossible. It's impossible for have all this people voting in 8 hours. It's impossible.
You had
the advantage of this was voting by mail because you have time, you don't have to go out, and you vote on your house.
And you have the last word today. So with that, have a good night, everybody. One thing I know for sure. No, you had the last word. That's it. No more.
One thing I know for sure, when the president comes in front of the microphone He's not going to tell people from Fox News, you are fake. I don't want to answer questions from you. You're trash.
Oh,
That's for sure. You're not going to see it. And that's my last word
that's your
from the
last
show.
word. That's